Girl, I am doing good. Little tired, little tired. It's really no rest. Just so much work to do and so many things to accomplish when you're building your business and new and old and all that other good stuff. But it's
Yeah.
good. Oh,
And so before we get started, tell us what new thing you're working on for yourself.
for myself, I am working on meditation.
Okay.
And I'm excited about that because it's something that as I was building my nonprofit all the years, I wish I had been introduced to, and it would have probably reduced a lot of the stress and anxiety and everything else I was going through as I was building it. And so I wish I was had it then. But I'm excited about it having it into my life now. How
Oh,
about you?
actually, I'm working on eating. I
Okay.
know that sounds hilarious. But I'm doing this new workout eating program.
Uh-huh.
And so one of the things that they have us doing is like eating certain foods during a certain what they call feeding window. So like not eating before 1 o'clock in the afternoon and getting your last meal in before 8 p.m. That kind of thing. So that's what I'm working on for myself.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
really good because that's one thing we don't do is we don't do a lot of self-care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, last week we had the joy and pleasure of talking about, how to keep your board engaged. And we went through some scenarios to just encourage new founders about how to gauge if their board is bored. And usually, that's easy to detect because your board will either be inactive, members will be complaining. You have people who are just not doing anything at all. And so we talked about giving them activities to do, going over the mission statement repeatedly every time in your board meeting, like engaging people around community activities or activities that they're interested in,
Yeah.
and then letting them take the lead on those things. So that was it was a very lively conversation about keeping your board engaged.
Mhm.
And but from that, we have been encountering many people as they're thinking about starting a nonprofit, and even some people who've started their nonprofit who just simply go, "Hey, can you guys help me find board members?"
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, just for those who are listening, the quick answer to that is not really.
We can tell you where to go, but we can't help you find them. I
Right,
mean, I think we're getting questions like, "Can you refer people?" It's like, "No, we can't refer people."
right.
But you said something that was really, really, really key and important. I think that's one subject we'll touch on too and more into details. Reading your mission statement every meeting.
Oh yeah,
So important because a lot of people I don't think take the importance of what the mission statement is and the purpose of the mission statement. Sometimes we think it's just something nice to say, "Oh, we have it and this is what it is," and just have it on our wall or have it on our
oh
newsletter or
yeah,
whatever. But it's the guiding factor for your organization, the direction you should be going in. So the board and staff should regularly know what that is. Wouldn't it be nice if each time staff came in this morning, they would, in the morning before they got to work, they would read the mission statement. It's like your
yeah,
job is to read this mission statement every day, or be
yeah,
able to. I used to do it my staff to see if they can recite it. You should know the mission statement. You're working, but you have no idea what our mission is.
yeah.
You think it's this small thing, but it's really big. So that's one thing the board should, I think, will keep the board engaged too. But first, you have to find the board members, right?
Right. Before you move off from that, I want to say to our listening audience, make note there will be a discussion on mission statement.
It is. It's
And that will probably take us a whole week of, several sessions to kind of go through,
mhm,
because mission statement isn't just a small thing. It's the essence of your organization. So
mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to put that little bug in people's ears. So
Yes.
yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
heartbeat. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. but finding the blood that's pumping through that heart is the board. Finding a good board. And
Yeah.
one of the things that people say is, how do I find a good board? First, you have to really sit down and define the qualities that you're looking for in a board member.
Yeah.
When we first started an organization, we're just looking for people so we can get our 501c3. But it's like, okay, now, but what qualities are you really looking for? And to think about what skills and experience and qualities that would make a good board member for your nonprofit.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to find those things or even think about those things when you are just starting your nonprofit. Okay.
Yeah.
And to figure out what gaps you need to fill in terms of experience and expertise, because right now all you have is your individual expertise. Like, this is what I have and this is what I want to do. But to really sit down and map it out, map what qualities you're looking for, you
Yeah.
know, and then to be able to say what person has them, or and also what services are we providing that they could complement. Maybe not complement by doing the work, but complement by giving their consultation on what it is that I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So,
I like to tell people when I'm working with them to get their board started that they should look for at least three core people to have on their board: a finance person, a marketing person, and a legal person. And not that you're tapping into them to provide you with these services for free, but typically, if they're interested in what your mission is for your organization, there goes that word again. But if they're interested in the mission of your organization, they'll want to offer you their
mhm,
services.
mhm,
And then that way you'll have your treasurer, you'll have someone who can help you navigate some of the legal issues that you may come across as you're going through things. And then you have someone who can help you with marketing, help you with even maybe help you with fundraising. So
mhm,
I would look for a fundraising marketing person. And I would say those are like three key board members that you should skills that you should look for your board.
mhm. Yes.
So I do tell them that.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely, definitely. Those are dynamic to have. And then also, when you're looking at those individuals, people find out how they, if they have any experience in the field that you're going to be in.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that funders ask is, how does your board reflect the population that you serve? And
Yeah.
so you want to make sure that your board reflects who you're planning on serving. So if you're planning on serving women or African Americans, people with disabilities, how does it reflect? How does that your board reflect who you're going to serve?
Yeah. That's a very good point. So now we kind of talked about like determining the qualities. Where do you find these board members? I'm sorry, I thought it was raining. I had to like look out the window, but it must have been an airplane flying over.
Oh, it's going to be
Uh,
a rainy day.
yeah, it's going to be a rainy day. So that's why this is a great place to be right here with you on Zoom or wherever we are.
We're not on Zoom.
No, we're not on Zoom. So now we want to give you some practical places to go. And one of them is your network. Okay. This is me standing on my soapbox for a few seconds. You are starting a business. People should know about your business. How do people know about your business? Because you find opportunities to go to places to um, share with others what you're doing, who you are, and and that's networking. So I mean, like even before maybe you completed all your paperwork, you're out there sharing the word with people about who you are and what you're doing.
Mhm. And some of those, it's like tap into any college. You have anybody at work? I know when I was starting my nonprofit, one of my buddies that I worked with, that we hung out was like, look, honey, I'm going to start this nonprofit. Do you mind sitting on my board? She's like, okay. You will be surprised if you just ask somebody, ask your friends, your colleagues, look at different family members. The the IRS sends away from having family members, but there's certain distant family members that you can have on your board. Look at that. Look at your mailman, people that you interact with on a daily basis. And that's one thing that's really funny. That's some of the people that we think we wouldn't ask, like say your mailman. If you have a regular mailman, do you speak to him? Hey, how you doing? What you doing? What's going on? Give them a holiday card, anything throughout the year. Some people do that, right?
Yeah.
Into them, say, hey, I'm starting this nonprofit. Would you be willing to serve on my board? Your
Yeah.
insurance agent, are you friendly? You have life insurance. Are you friendly with your life insurance agent? Call them up and say, hey, I did that with Art. I had State Farm for you. I called up and said, hey, would you like to serve on our board? She happened to be serving on another board and didn't want to do it, but she donated. She got us a van donated to our organization. So
Yeah.
tap into your natural network of people you work with every day. Your friend, you be yip yapping on the phone. Or do you know someone, right,
Yeah.
that they could recommend?
I want to go back to also to the idea of family. So the IRS poo poos family being officers on your board, but you can have a family member as a board member. And then one of the things that we talk about, and I'll put this on our list because we don't have time to talk about it today. But your bylaws just need to be very clear about family members as board members, and we're not talking about every member of your family. That is, unless it's a family run foundation or
Mm.
of some sort, but when you're talking about just your average nonprofit, what do we call them, public charitable institutions, yes, you can have some family members, not all family members, and family members cannot be officers. am
And
i
look,
am I wrong about that, Vannessa? I think that's
a little bit, yes,
okay. Okay.
yes, because a member is a member, and so the members are even voting. So the IRS is like, the
Okay.
IRS actually has a list of people who you can't, if I say go distant relatives,
Distant.
but
Okay.
the IRS has a list of people who what they consider a relative, and they don't want to see them on the board
Okay.
because
So
generally they
like not immediate family.
yeah, husband,
Okay.
wife, sister, brother, in-law, so there's a list. But then as you go further down, like a cousin, they don't have a cousin on there. But the
Okay.
IRS, so if you're in doubt, go to the IRS and look at them. And they don't differentiate between officers and members because their members
Okay.
are voting too. And so those members can vote for the salary of the other person. And so yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. That makes sense. So see,
Mhm.
this is why I have Vannessa here for my uh DIY nonprofit. I can help you get the paperwork done.
And
But
then look, Antoinette, to go on that fact, it's like really when you think about your family members, be really, how it is working with family.
yeah.
So you want to really be, if you decide, hey, I'm gonna have my cousin, it's like,
Yeah.
what's your cousin's number relationship? And that even goes with your best friends too. But you may ask them for referrals.
Right.
Because sometimes you get your family members and they will take over what you're doing. And what can you do? They're your family. So are you going to split your family up over your business? So
Yeah. And that's an excellent point. That's a very excellent point. I'll tell you, like a real quick side story. My husband is he has a degree in accounting, and he's a financial manager in his professional life. And so I'm a small business owner, and my husband started doing our taxes. I love him. We're still married. Like I keep promising, like maybe we won't be next week, but but it's a totally different thing. And so I want to just kind of pause here and say congratulations to couples who can work together.
mhm.
I know Vannessa and her husband, they do some work together. And so congratulations really to couples who can work together.
Petito.
Because it is next level,
Hmm.
truly next level.
Yes,
So yeah, yeah.
yes. And
But
another, oh,
mhm.
go ahead.
Oh, no, no. I was just going to go put us back on track and just
Oh,
say, so remember to do that what Vannessa suggested. And if you work with us at the Nonprofit Founders Club, we actually will give you all of those instructions from internal revenue so that you can have them, those guidelines, you can have them to review and go through to show you what you should and shouldn't do and what you can and can't expect
mhm.
for governing your nonprofit. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes. And if you want to know more as we're going into this, check out, and I know it's probably old and antiquated, but it's a lot of good information. And a lot of people still call it Robert's Rule of Order.
yeah,
And that shows you how to really govern your board of directors,
yeah,
your board. Another good place to find board members is attend networking events. Set up a booth if you can, and just sit there and just pass on information. People will be like, "Oh, that's really good what you're doing. Would you like to serve on our board? We're looking for board members. Would you like to
yeah,
submit an application?"
yeah,
And then also go around to other nonprofits, and you may see other board members there for other organizations or executive directors, and ask them, when is your term up for your board of directors? Would you be any of your board looking to serve on other boards? Are you going to be replacing your board members? Ask them if they know of anyone that would be interested in serving on their board. Do they require their employees to serve on boards or do community services? Might
yeah.
not be because you have for-profit businesses there, and you have a lot of small businesses at networking events and the Chamber of Commerce's. Go to them and find out if anyone's there is looking for an opportunity to serve on a board.
And I would even say, in addition to what Vannessa said, because like I said, I'm a small business owner. So I love going to networking events and paying the extra $50 to get a table and throw my pens across the table and my makeshift pamphlets across the table, because I'm also introverted. And so it's a passive way of meeting people
Mhm.
because people like to collect things when they go to networking events. So they'll stop at my table and collect some pins and post-its, and they'll ask me questions like, who are you? And
Mhm.
what is a virtual assistant? And those sorts of things. And then I get an opportunity to share who I am. I find that it prepares me to then be able, when we get in our little round circle groups and we have to share our elevator speeches. I've just practiced it 15 times with the people who've stopped at my table to
Mhm.
collect pens and pencils. So when I now sit down at the table and it's time for me to introduce myself, I can say it with even more confidence. So just imagine that you need board members and you have gotten this table at this networking event. You've shared a little bit about your organization. You've shared a little bit about who you are. When you go to sit down at this table, you can confidently say, I am the founder of XYZ board. Our mission is XYZZZ, and we're looking for board members.
Mhm. Yes.
And people will completely get it. I
Mhm.
also want to just add, well, I was getting ready to apologize and realize that that's not necessary, but I was just going to add to your networking, can also be social activities. So, like, even
Mhm.
though you are, we think of networking as business, but some people have bowling leagues. Some
Mhm.
people are, my mom, avid knitting, a knitter, quilting clubs, knitting clubs, book clubs. All of those are networking events.
Yes, yes, you want to take advantage of it. Like today, I am going to go play tennis, and so if people are there, I will share it with them. And but what's really funny is one of the person who's on my in the nonprofit founders club, she's over this tennis camp, and so I am going to participate. I'm participating in her tennis, so we're network with each other constantly.
Yes.
And so another place to go is, oh my goodness, online resources. You want to look at LinkedIn, Board Match. You have a lot of professionals that's on LinkedIn or Board Match where you can find um, potential board members,
Yeah.
right?
And I want to just add to that list Craigslist.
Craigslist,
Yeah, advertise for
advertise.
free. Yeah.
Advertisement is huge.
Yeah.
And then there's people that want to volunteer. I would go to colleges. I would go to high schools. I know people say, well, you can't have high school students on your board. Yes, you can. And you can have them as advisory members too. I
Yeah.
would go to the colleges because a lot of the colleges, they have to do internship. And some of them will be like, yes, I would love to serve on your board.
Yeah. Yeah.
My bank, if I go to the bank and my bank is the person I'm banking with, and I'm giving them my money, they're like, "Hey, girl, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, I have this new organization. Would you like to serve?" We had someone from Wells Fargo serve on our board, so it was wonderful. When we needed some funding, they could be there to give us support. So we
Yeah.
just there's so many different ways to get board members. If
Yeah.
some people told I spoke with one person, she said, "I don't have any friends, I don't have any family, I don't know anyone." That's okay. Because if you're starting a business, you got to get out in that community and you're going to have to start really meeting people. If you're not willing to get out in the community to meet people, maybe starting a nonprofit and running a nonprofit may not be the jam for you.
Yeah. You know what? I am so glad you said community, because that is like a what is it? An untapped resource.
Hmm.
If you have committed to create, to create a nonprofit that is going to serve a particular community, absolutely a community member should be on your board.
Right. If you're serving kids, find a parent, right? Find one of their parents
Absolutely.
are all these grandparents are taking care of their grandkids.
Yeah.
Find one of the grandparents or someone that could serve on your board.
Yeah.
So
And the importance of that is the people then that you are serving, and going back to what Vannessa said earlier, and you got to keep all these things in mind. So you may want to rewatch these videos. But Vannessa said earlier, funders are going to want to know how your board is a representation of the community that you're serving.
that's right. That's right. That's right. And so whenever and it's really interesting. So sometimes when I write a grant, I may write a grant specifically for African American youth. And then they'll want to know, well, how does our board reflect that? Well, we have X amount of African Americans on our board who are ex probation officers or ex our nurses or whatever that ties into whatever it is that we're writing that grant for. And they want to know that it extends further than just the employees that you're going to hire. So it's
Yeah.
really important that your nonprofit board reflect the community that you serve. Whether you get grant funding or not, it just makes great sense because they're going to really teach you what's going on because they're living it day to day or they've lived it. So
Yeah.
those are our tips of what you could do, where you can find board members.
And the thing to remember, that this is a do-it-yourself nonprofit station. So we're giving you like lots of information on how you can do this yourself and how you can be successful.
Hmm.
So we hope that you'll pay it forward by sharing this, our website, our YouTube channel, with other people so that they can learn how to grow their nonprofits or figure out how to help support you and yours.
Yes. And if you're listening to this and you're watching this, I want you to write this down. I want you to keep watching because within the next month, we'll be kicking off a nonprofit breakfast club. And that's going to be our mini club where we're going to be on Zoom. Well, it's not really going to be on Zoom, but it's going to be online. And you'll be able to come online and you'll be able to see face to face and ask questions and network with others in the community that's building their nonprofit or working in the nonprofit field. It's going to be a breakfast club, and I'm so excited that we should be kicking it off the 1st of June.
The 1st of June. I
The
love
1st of
Vannessa.
June. Yes. Yes.
Vannessa, I told, see, that's why we started out by asking. So, Vannessa, what you got going on? Because Vannessa is not only busy trying to give, you quality, quality opportunities and access to information, but she's also busy working on herself and being a great model to us about self-care and business, what is it called, like business production, like making sure to continue to grow your business. So thank you, Vannessa, that's awesome.
Let's do it because it's making the world a better place. I'm excited. I'm excited about the breakfast club because people have questions. And sometimes I have to admit, because I'm so busy, you can send me an email and I might get back to it. Or you can post in the Facebook or whatever. And I ain't even going to lie. I don't even get on Facebook very often. So why am I having groups there? I don't know. So what I decided to do is like, you know what? I'm going to have a mini club and I'm going to meet once a week, and people will be able to come into that little mini club I'm going to have once a week and ask questions and network. And
I
so
love
they
it.
will get their questions answered live, because if they can't get their questions answered live or hear other people's questions and hear what their answers are, then I think that will be better for them to really either start their nonprofit or keep it going, because some people are not ready for the club yet, because when you get into the membership club, that's intensive. We'll
Yes.
be doing some intensive work. So people are not quite ready for that level yet. And those who are at that level, sometimes they have questions and they'll be able to come in. So look out for our breakfast club. And I am so excited.
And I just need to add this. The club right now is working on grant writing. So they're going through the steps to like really literally write a grant. And we have seen success in the club with club members getting grants. So, like this isn't, I mean, we make it look like fun and games because we laugh, we tell jokes, we ask crazy, silly questions of each other.
Oh, crazy.
But but this is serious business that we are sharing with you. And so, and the best part about this, you have not heard us plug anything asking you for money. This is us sharing with you how you can access things. We're not selling you anything. We're sharing information with you. So
Right here on this platform.
right here on this platform, exactly.
Okay, so we have a silly. So when she talks about silly questions, I always love to do a silly question. So Antoinette, what is the most embarrassing thing that your parents caught you doing?
Oh man, there have been so many of those. Probably the one that I will share. Okay, so all of us have been little girls at some point and have played with the mud outside, and my mom kind of caught me wondering, like, what does mud pie really taste like? So it's embarrassing now as an old lady, but as a little 6-year old, it's like, well, how am I supposed to know? How about you, Vannessa?
Oh my goodness, I can't even think of any embarrassing moment that she's caught me doing.
One
But
that you can share, right?
right, right. Okay, so one thing I will say, I don't know if it was embarrassing or if I knew I was in trouble, but she caught me sneaking in the house after I snuck out.
Ah,
Oh, so
I
so
know.
that's it. So
And how appropriate, so
yes.
thinking of mothers, yeah.
Yes.
So
Oh, that's what it's Mother's Day weekend. Everybody have for those of you who have their mothers, enjoy them. Those who you don't, remember the memories of her.
yeah,
And if you are a mother, have a beautiful Mother's Day weekend.
yeah.
And thank you for birthing more people in this world.
Yeah, it's probably what has given you the heart to care so much to, want to do a business like this. So
Yes, yes.
awesome.
And so
Yeah.
everybody that's watching, thank you so much. Everybody that watches this, no matter when you watch it, you will be able to find out more about the Breakfast Club and the Nonprofit Founders Club. See, I'm
Yeah.
all about this club thing.
Yes.
Okay, so
Awesome.
all righty. So thank you all, and we will see you next week.
Okay.